shouldn't be hard. Life should be a fun-filled adventure every day. So now start joining up dots. Tap into your talents, your skills, your God-given gifts, and tell your boss, you don't deserve me. I'm out of here. It's time for you to smash that alarm clock and start getting the dream business and life you, well, of course, are dreaming of. Let's join your host, David Ralph, from the back of his garden in the UK, or wherever he might be today, with another jammed-packed episode of the #1 hit podcast, Join Up Dots.
Yeah, good morning to you, and welcome to the Join Up Dots podcast. Right, let's get into this, because this is probably the #1 question I get on Join Up Dots. More than issues with mindset, more than motivation, more than what mic do you use and how do you record and stuff. Literally, the #1 question I always get is some version of, David, I'd love to quit my job, but I've got absolutely no idea what I can do to make that happen. And yeah, I get so many of these, and whenever I hear that, I don't hear actually confusion, because I don't think that's what people are asking. I hear pressure. I hear sort of fear, and fear dressed up as curiosity. I hear someone standing right on the edge of a diving board, looking down 10, 15 metres, convincing themselves they need to have a perfect plan before they jump, when actually they don't actually need to jump at all. And that's where so many people go wrong. They think entrepreneurship and building your own dream life starts with quitting. They think that freedom starts with handing in a notice. They think that success comes from bold, dramatic leaps that look brilliant on Instagram. And of course, you're bricking it at 3 o'clock in the morning when the mortgage payment is due and you haven't got the money. And I get it. I really do, because I actually did that. I jumped ship before my lifeboats were in the water, before I built my parachute and all those other sort of analogies. And yes, it worked out, but not because that was the smart move. It worked out despite it. And if I could go back and talk to that version of me, the version pacing the room and thinking, there's got to be more than this, I'm going to quit my job and just do it, I'd really say something to him that, don't do that, because your job is not the enemy. Your bills are the priority. The bills are the enemy as such, because that's why you go to work. You go to work, pay the bills. If you didn't have to pay any bills, you wouldn't go to work. And your business starts before you ever quit your job. It's the side hustles. Now, the reason this question comes up so much is because people are overthinking it, massively overthinking it. You hear all these podcasts and these people on stage and stuff, and they're searching for, and they tell you they're searching, you got to find purpose, passion, alignment, the thing that lights you up. But what you really need at the beginning is something far less romantic, really, and certainly not Instagram worthy. You just need stability. You need to be able to pay your bills. Because the thing that no one tells you when they're shouting, follow your dreams from a stage with a headset on, with loads of people waving their arms and pumping, is stress kills creativity and fear kills momentum. And certainly unpaid bills kill businesses. You can't build a future when your nervous system is in a constant state of panic. Well, you can, because I've done it, but I really, really, really recommend that you don't. But why do people do this? Because most people don't actually hate work. I don't think they hate work as such. They hate being trapped. They hate feeling like they have no control. They hate feeling like it's a sort of time control. They hate knowing that if the job disappeared tomorrow, everything would fall apart. That's the key thing. It's the stability again. So they sit there scrolling, listening to podcasts like this one, hoping for the lightning bolt, the one idea that really makes everything obvious, and it's the thing that they were meant to do. And that idea almost never appears, and it certainly never appears under pressure. It appears when you're safe enough to explore. When I started Join Up Dots, it wasn't some grand vision. It wasn't me thinking, this is it, this is my calling. It was curiosity mixed with frustration. It was me thinking, surely there's another way to live my life and earn money that doesn't make Sundays and Mondays feel like I'm about to shoot myself. And I didn't wake up knowing what I could do. I woke up knowing what I didn't want anymore. And that's the key thing. That's enough to start. This is where people screw up. They think the next move is to burn all the boats, to quit, to force themselves to succeed. But that's madness, because entrepreneurship isn't about bravery. It's about reducing the risk until fear has nothing to stop you. And the first most important job of anyone wanting to control their life and become, we'll say, an entrepreneur is not to chase freedom. It's to cover their bills. That's it. That's the whole game at the beginning. Not millions, not purpose, not legacy, but rent, food, mortgage, heating, the boring stuff that we've all got to pay. Because once those are covered, everything changes, and your thinking changes, and your energy changes, and your options multiply. And the irony is that once people hear that, they often feel disappointed, because that's not what they want. They want the big answer. They want the sexy idea. They want me to tell them what businesses to start. And I used to try to do that, but I don't now, because that's not how it works, and it never has. The biggest mistake people make is assuming their first business needs to be their forever business and to cover everything. It doesn't. Your first business has one job only, and that's pay for something you currently pay for with the money that you're earning. That's it. One bill at a time. And it seems almost too simple. And this is where I want you to slow down and just really, really think about this, because it changes everything. You don't become an entrepreneur by quitting your job. You become an entrepreneur by creating income alongside your job. It's the side hustles. It's the small, tiny little things that makes your life easier. And you don't announce it. You don't need validation. You don't need a logo or website or grand plan. You don't need to lose all your weekends. You don't need to be hustling in the evening. You just need proof that money can come from somewhere other than your employer. Because the first time that happens, something will click inside you. And it's just, you start to realize it's not impossible to control your own life. It's just unfamiliar. I remember when I earned my first money outside of employment, and it wasn't a huge amount. It was about £1.45 or something. It was tiny. But for me, it was enormous, because it was like discovering a secret door in a building I thought had no exits. And suddenly, the door had a key to it. My work wasn't so heavy anymore, because it wasn't my only option. And that is the shift that people are really craving, whether they know it or not. It's not the quitting, it's the having the options. Now, I'll tell you a story, because this is where my own stupidity comes in handy for you. When I finally quit my job, I didn't have months of runway. I didn't have a safety net. I had belief, I had adrenaline, and I had a slightly delusional confidence, I think, that it'll work out. And for a while, that confidence carried me until it didn't. And there was moments, real moments, loads of them actually, when I'd wake up with that tight feeling in my chest with, what the hell have I done? And no amount of motivational quotes could make that go away. I was sinking. I was building under pressure, and pressure makes you grab at bad ideas. Say yes to things you shouldn't. You chase money instead of value. You just rush decisions. And I see people doing this all the time. They think stress is fuel, but it's not. It's just a fog. And if I'd done it differently, I would have built just quietly. I would have aimed to replace one bill, just one, get that working, then another, and then another. And one day, then my job would have become irrelevant and I could just have walked away. That's the smart way. That's how you should be doing it. But it doesn't appeal. people just want all and nothing, and that's why people resist it. They want that identity of being in control, of being an entrepreneur, doing things when they want. And when someone says to me, I don't know what I can do, I always think, good, because that means you're not really forcing it, because the worst businesses are born from desperation, and the best ones are born from observation, I suppose. That's pretty good. Start noticing other people's problems. Start noticing inefficiencies. Start noticing what people complain about but still pay for. And you don't need to be special. You don't need to be the best. You don't need to be passionate. You just need to be useful and provide service to other people. And that service pays incredibly well. People overstate passion and all that stuff. Your first side hustle doesn't need to light you up inside. It just needs to pay maybe £200 a month. That's it. And once it does, you've changed the rules of your life, because you're suddenly not asking, what can I do with my life? You're asking, what else could I add? And that question feels very different, because it comes from confidence, not panic. Just don't stop trying to pick the perfect thing, because there's no perfect thing. And the next thing is usually obvious when you stop overthinking it. It's often something close to what you already do, something boring, something unsexy, something that doesn't really feel like a real business. But money doesn't care about your feelings. It cares about value. Build from there. Just keep on thinking, how can you solve a problem, or how can you make something easier? And if you can do that globally, then you make a lot of money. Okay? So don't think of entrepreneurship like a dimmer switch. It's not on and off button. You don't leap from darkness to full light. You just slowly turn it up, and one day you'll realize that you've done it, and that's when you can quit, and that's when you can leave. But up to that point, just be quiet and patiently, one bill at a time. Take your smallest bill, £15, £50, your mobile phone bill, and just try to think of ways of paying that. And it could be that you work for someone, i.e. you perform a task, and just that one task a month means that's paid. But you don't need to escape your job. You just need to outgrow it. And that happens far more gently, without any pressure at all, than you're led to believe by all these people saying, just quit and go for it. I did that and it nearly killed me. Okay. So just for today, just look at one of your bills, go to your direct debits and your standing orders, just choose one and think to yourself, okay, that's going to be my goal. I'm going to learn something, or I'm going to create something, or I'm going to provide service just to pay for that. And then once you've got that and you can repeat that, then look at another one. And that's how side hustles start. Not trying to come up with the idea, but just thinking, okay, I need to replace £30. What do I need to do? Okay. So, so that's it for today's episode of Join Up Dots. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review, because your feedback does help us so much. You wouldn't believe. It's going to be coming to the end of the year soon, so you look after yourselves, you stay sexy, don't work too hard, and of course we will see you in the next episode. Until that time, look after yourselves. Cheers, see ya, bye.
That's the end of Join Up Dots. You've heard the conversation. Now it's time for you to start taking massive action. Create your future, create your life. It's the only life you've got. And we'll be back again real soon. And join up dots, join up dots, join up dots, join up dots. Join up.